Wednesday, June 22nd, 2011. It's the day after summer begins. It's a new season, and with new season comes change. My name is Cory Woodward, and this is my video blog. This is going to be a daily video blog that I want to put out there in which I share myself with you, or with whoever's willing to listen. I had a very interesting conversation yesterday that's kind of prompted this, and it was regarding passions. We all have passions in life. Some are aware to others, some are unaware of what they are and are on a search for it, but I think they're always there. There's always those indications, and it's usually find them in the things that you say are your dreams, the things that you say you could never do. And that's a tough thing to overcome. I believe that we live in a world that kind of suppresses those sides of ourselves, and it's generally our more flamboyant, artistic, creative sides that are kind of taught to say that that's not the proper way. You should have a regular job, you should have steady income, and that should be your life, and you should have a house and kids, and then that's it. But that's not the case. And the beautiful thing about this world now is that we're so aware of that, and I think we have a growing consciousness amongst us all that is slowly evolving into something very beautiful, I believe. I remember a while back I was told something that this particular age that we live in, it was something that I read. This particular age that we lived in, we used to, from our evolution and how we came about, so much of our world was all about hunting and gathering and moving and survival. So much of it was about survival. And now we've grown into for lack of a better word, stagnant people. We set roots and we stay in one place, and it's not so much about tapping into that instinctual thing about ourselves of survival that we need to provide and hunt and create homes and stuff like that. So much of that is already there, and so we're left with a lot of energy, a lot of energy that particularly doesn't, might not find a home. So that gives and breeds these opportunities of, beautiful art, all the beautiful things that we do create. It also goes on the dark side of things where, you have all this extra energy and it turns into anxiety and you don't know what to do with it, and it can be fear-based, and, we dive into things like addiction and negative things, negative behaviors, and which is hard. It's that's a hard challenge, a new challenge that I think we're all facing, and a beautiful one though. You have to, I think, with any negative, with any good and bad, you got to be willing to lean into both. Particularly our fears, I'm finding that you have to lean into the most. I certainly have a lot of trouble with that. I battle it consistently. I have a very I find myself to be a sensitive individual, which makes me more prone to things like escaping my anxieties and fears, and it's an interesting thing where I could sit down on purpose, trying to tell myself to do nothing. I had an experience in which I took my own trip, a solo trip to Maui once. A beautiful tropical destination. It was 28 and sunny the whole time. I had nothing to do. I didn't have an agenda. I went there to be with myself, to enjoy that company with myself, and experience a new culture. And part of it, what I wanted to try to do was to be able to sit still. And just be with myself. And so I made many attempts during that. I was there for about a week, and I made many attempts. And I found myself, although I was able to increase the time more and more, the most I could do, and this is literally sitting on a sunny beach in the beautiful weather with nothing to do, I found myself within an hour of just sitting and not doing anything. I found it unbearable. I found it completely unbearable. My mind was just racing, and the only thing that kept going on in my head was like, you got to be doing something, you got to be doing something, you got to be doing something, you got to be doing something. And it was so intense that the only thing I could do to alleviate it was get up and go do something. And at that particular moment that I remember, I walked for like 3.5 hours along the shoreline with no intention except just to burn and get rid of this energy that's in my head, because I needed to and I couldn't sit still. So it was very interesting experience. You know, I don't know. I would invite anyone out there to do that, to see if you can shut off all your TV, shut off your phone, shut off everything in your house, and even if you have family and stuff like that, say, you know, I'm taking an hour, I'm going to sit in a room and just sit and be with yourself and see what comes up. And it's, you know, it's, for myself, terrifying. It's terrifying what comes up. You're faced with some of your most deepest, darkest fears, and you know, and it's an interesting challenge to become that friend with yourself, you know, and to become that lover of yourself, you know. And I don't feel I'm there yet, you know. That's still a work in progress, you know. Life is so much of ups and downs, you know. I remember that trip was a good eye-opener, and I was in a good headspace, you know. As of late, it's taken the other side of things, you know. I've really been consumed by so many of my past experiences, you know. They've been so many negative ones, and there's a lot of residual energy that just exists in there, and you have to release it, and you have to forgive yourself, and you know, I'm not there yet, but it will come. It will come in time. And you know, I had also another beautiful conversation yesterday regarding passions, you know, passions in life. And for anyone who knows me, yeah, you know that I sing, I write, I do music, I record music, and that is a passion. Entertaining is a deep, deep passion, but there's something beneath that I found through this conversation I had yesterday that fuels it a lot more, you know, and that's, I love the ability that music has to be able to reach and touch people, to be able to share through experience your life, and to give that solace for that other person to know, you know, when a song hits me, it's like, oh, I'm not alone in this. This guy's speaking my mind. This woman's, you know, saying exactly what I felt at this particular moment in my life, and it just makes, it's comforting to know that you're not alone, you know. I have a strong belief that within our consciousness, we are alone. You know, we enter this world alone and we'll leave this world alone. But along the way, you're going to have a lot of company, and you're going to have a lot of opportunities for beautiful happiness, you know, and enjoyment and experience with all these beautiful other people. And you know, you're not alone in your thoughts. You know, they're all the same. You know, we all think about the same stuff. We think about death. We think about suicide. We think about happiness. We think about, you know, we spend times daydreaming about beautiful things that we want in our lives, you know, and I find those things that you daydream about are generally the passions in your life, you know, and we shouldn't fear them. We should engage them. We should go towards them, and we should do it as much as possible. You know, this life is too short to say that your existence is going to be a Monday to Friday job and that's it. You know, it can be Monday to Friday jobs, but I think we're evolving creatures, and we need to, you know, you need variety, you need change, you know, you need to be able to say that I am not just one career for my life, because I think there's so much of this world to experience, and it's worth experiencing. You know, so in regards to the conversation about passions, you know, that's the beautiful thing, is that kind of thing, reaching out and wanting to touch people, just transcends music. You know, there's so many other ways of doing it, you know, and this being a new season of change, and summer approaching, and me wanting to do things differently, and this is my video blog, in which I just want to share myself, and where I think things that motivate and that I get passionate about and that I like, and so I'm going to do that. To close, I'm going to share with you a book that I recently read. This book is by a lovely author. Her name is Forrest, and the name of the book is Your Voice in My Head. And it's an extremely brutally honest, transparent, biographical novel of this young lady's life. And there's a lot of darkness that she faces and has gone through, and I highly recommend reading it. And the biggest thing that I loved, I think that I really got out of it, or that's sticking with me for the moment, other things will come and go, but for the moment, the biggest thing that I loved about it was that, you know, dying is easy, and living is the tricky part, you know. So it's it might sound dark in saying that, but you know, a lot of this book faces a lot of things around her struggles with suicide and wanting to live, and the relationships that she's made, and profound ones that have gone away, and dealing with the death of them, and you know, so that those are all experiences that we all go through, and that it's worth hearing someone else's experience of that, because you can apply it to your own, and you can see as an outside perspective how that might help you and benefit you in it. So this being the first blog, I was long-winded, and I don't mind, so if you've cut out at 5 minutes, that is fine. I don't mind. This is just for you to enjoy if you like, and this is something that is going to bring me happiness to come. So I recommend that book. I recommend experiencing this beautiful day as best as you can. I'm going to do my best too. I make no promises that I'll be completely happy all day, but I'm still going to do the best that I can to enjoy it. So have a happy June 22nd, and I will see you tomorrow.